Hello. I'm thinking that maybe you're watching this when it's close to bedtime, and you could be watching this by yourself or you could be watching this with your family. But I know it's been crazy, lots and lots of changes, and you might be tired of hanging around with your parents. You might be missing your friends. You might be sick and tired of your siblings. And for some of you, you may not have a sibling at home, and that can get, kind of tiresome too. So I'm trying to think what I can do here at Gathered and Grounded to help people, help y'all. And I know for me, I'm actually feeling more tired on these days than I've ever felt before, which we can feel sometimes when we have different feelings and emotions inside. And so what I'd like you to do, just for just a quick moment, if you're comfortable, close your eyes and think of what I call 3 bright spots in your day. 3 things that you're thankful for. And then you can open your eyes. You might want to grab a blanket, or maybe you're already in bed, or maybe it's afternoon time and you just need a break. But get yourselves comfy, and I'm going to read you a story, and then we'll do a little breathing, and then hopefully that's just an opportunity to relax your nervous system, whether it's getting ready for bed or moving on to the next thing for the day, or the next part of homeschooling, or if you're a parent watching, for the next activity that's on your list. So what I'm going to read to you is a Buddha story, a Buddhism story, and it is called The Princesses and the Kingshuk Tree. So get comfy, relax, close your eyes if you're comfortable. Maybe place your hands on your belly. Take a deep breath in and let the breath come out of your mouth. One more deep breath in and out of the mouth. And last one, if you're comfortable, deep breath in and hold full. And when you're ready, let the breath come out of your mouth. Soften your eyes or close them. Relax, be very still and listen. Listen carefully to this tale about 4 princesses who lived in a grand palace in a distant land. They were very curious girls, so when they heard about a tree of breathtaking beauty, they longed to see it. But this was no ordinary tree, it was a magic tree. Do you want to know why? Let's see if we can find out. Now, the young princesses had been well educated about everything in their own land, especially about all the animals, flowers, and trees that could be found there. They even had a zoo in the palace with exotic birds and animals from all over the world. And the collection of trees and flowers in the palace gardens was said to be beyond compare. So the princesses were very surprised one day to hear the gardener mention a special tree in the palace grounds, known as the Kingshuk Tree, as none of them had ever come across it. The princesses were so intrigued by what they heard that they were determined to see it. That very day after their lessons, they went to find the gardener and asked him to take them to see this wonderful tree. "It would be my pleasure, your highnesses," said the gardener, "but the Kingshuk Tree is a magic tree. People can only see it on their birthday. The rest of the time it is invisible, so I will only be able to take you one at a time, and you will each have to wait until your birthday." The princesses agreed and decided that it was only right and proper for the eldest to go first. And so it was that on the eldest princess's birthday, a bright spring morning, the gardener and the girls set out to find the Kingshuk Tree. And walking for a while, they came to the edge of the royal forest where the gardener said that it grew. The princess saw a tall, willowy tree standing apart, but the gardener could see nothing, so she knew that this was indeed the magical Kingshuk. She stood entranced by the beautiful tree Its small green leaves were unfurling like sparkling emeralds, and the princess was filled with its joyful energy. As they left, the gardener asked her not to talk about what had happened so that she wouldn't spoil the tree's magic for her sisters. As spring rolled into summer, the second eldest princess celebrated her birthday, and the gardener took her to find the Kingshuk Tree. She gasped when she saw it, for it was an explosion of deep red blossoms glowing like rubies. The princess swooned as she smelled the heavenly perfume of the magic flowers, which filled her with a great sense of happiness. The gardener asked her, too, not to discuss the tree until all the girls had seen it. The hot summer days were turning to autumn when the gardener brought the third princess to see the Kingshuk Tree on her birthday. Her eyes widened when she saw its boughs crammed with luscious purple fruits which hung from the tree like giant amethysts. The magic tree was so enticing that she felt as if it were feeding her with its goodness and generosity. And once again, the gardener asked her, like her sisters, not to talk about the tree until all four princesses had seen it. Finally, as winter chased the last autumn leaves from the trees, the birthday of the fourth and the youngest princess arrived. Now the gardener took her, too, to visit the Kingshuk Tree. She asked to be taken at night as she wanted to see it in the moonlight. And sure enough, its silvery branches, wet with dew, looked spectacular and sparkled as if they were dressed in silver threads laced with tiny diamonds. She felt as if the mystical tree was wrapping her in its warmth and magic. The day after the youngest princess's visit, the four girls went to thank the gardener for taking them all to see the magical Kingshuk Tree. Relieved that they could discuss it amongst themselves, at last the eldest princess said, "I will never forget the beautiful tree with its tiny leaves shimmering like emeralds in the afternoon sun." "But sister, you must be mistaken," cried the second oldest princess. "The Kingshuk Tree was covered in huge ruby red blossoms, and its heady perfume filled me with great feelings of happiness." "Oh no, sisters, you are both quite wrong," insisted the third princess. "The Kingshuk Tree was heavy with luscious purple fruits, which sparkled like giant amethysts." "Well, sisters, I think you must have seen different trees," cried the youngest princess. "The Kingshuk's branches were covered in tiny threads of glittering dew that enchanted me with their magic." Had the sisters not been so well-mannered, there might have been an argument, but instead they simply wondered if they had seen 4 different trees. The gardener laughed. "Your highnesses," he said calmly, "you have indeed each seen the same Kingshuk Tree and experienced its magic, but it was dressed for the season of your birthday when each of you visited. To truly appreciate the tree, you need to visit it in all seasons, which is, of course, impossible because of its invisibility." The princesses laughed. They had forgotten that each of their birthdays fell in a different part of the year and that the tree changed with the seasons. No wonder it had looked different on each visit. The girls also realized that the only way they would be able to discover more about the magical Kingshuk Tree was by listening to and learning from each other and anyone else who'd been lucky enough to see it. What we first see may not always give us the whole picture. A wise person knows that to discover the truth about anything, they must learn from other people's insights as well as their own. So wherever you are, whether you're laying down or sitting up or cuddling with someone at home, make sure you're comfortable. Again, eyes can be open or closed. Gently placing your lips together and letting them touch just enough so you can open them, so that as you breathe in through your nose, you can let that breath come out of that small space. And it's not like blowing a bubble. You gently breathe in through your nose and let the breath come out of that teeny tiny space between your lips. So continuing in through the nose, out through the opening, and possibly with each breath, with each exhale, your body might feel more at ease, connected to the ground or the bed or the mat, chair, wherever you might be. And continuing with that breath for as long as you'd like, with eventually moving towards letting the body breathe all on its own without having to give it thought. Letting the body and the mind be as it is. And then picture yourself surrounded by red light. Imagine breathing in the red light and filling you with energy. And what would that feel like in the body? And where would you feel energy? Where do you need to bring in energy? Now see yourself surrounded by orange light. Imagine breathing in the orange light as it fills you with strength. Where do you need strength? We think of strength in our muscles, in our body, but sometimes we need strength in our mind to get through challenging times. So where can you bring in that orange light to bring in strength? Next, visualize yourself surrounded by yellow light. Imagine breathing in the yellow light and it filling you with happiness. Where do you feel happiness within the body? And maybe you can go back to one of those bright spots. And did it bring in some happiness into your heart and mind? Then picture yourself surrounded by green light. Imagine breathing in the green light and it filling you with friendship. So a lot of us might be distant from friends and not seeing them face to face, being able to give them a hug or to cuddle up with them. But we can also feel fortunate that we do have ways to connect with modern technology. And we also have our imagination. And we also have our memories that we can fall back onto. So filling up with that green light as it connects to your friendships. Now see yourself surrounded by blue light. Imagine breathing in the blue light and it filling you with peace. So maybe taking in notice your breath as it moves into your body. And where can you bring peace to release any tension that you may have? And it's quite possible that all of us need to bring some peace into our mind. So breathe into that space. Next, picture yourself surrounded by indigo light. Imagine breathing in the indigo light and it filling you with gentleness. And gentleness can have many meanings. And this is probably a time to be gentle with ourselves first. We need to fill up our cup or fill up our bucket, if you know the story of the bucket filler. So being gentle with when we get frustrated, when we feel like we can't do something, maybe when we got irritated with something and said and responded in a way we didn't want to. And then being gentle with others in many, many levels. Within our home, within our friend group, within our teaching community, the social media world, extended family, government, all of that. We need to be gentle and have some grace. Now visualize yourself surrounded by violet light. Imagine breathing in the violet light and it filling you with love. The violet light goes all the way down to the toes, up and through the legs, to the hips, the entire back, and the shoulders, and down the arms, over to the belly, into the chest where you notice the rise and fall as the breath moves in and out of the body, bringing in love on the inhale and letting love out to the world on the exhale. Continuing that light up to the mind, the forehead, softening the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. And then allowing yourself just to have a moment or two in this space with body and mind as is. Coming back to the breath. Feeling the body relaxed on the ground or in the chair. Imagining a bright rainbow carrying all this energy, the strength, happiness, friendship, peace, gentleness, and love from your heart into your home, your street, your town, your country, and out to the entire world, the earth. And then slowly the colors of that full rainbow begin to lighten and slowly move away and vanish. And even though we no longer see the colors of that rainbow, all of those feelings and intentions are still there. Taking a deep inhale, feeling the belly rise and letting the breath come out of the mouth. Maybe one more deep inhale. And then taking your hands and placing them together in prayer position in front of the heart, gazing down at fingertips, and taking a moment to go back to the beginning of spending time together until this moment, and noticing any changes you might have in body and mind, how the body feels, the mind, the face. And every time we're together, we end with the following. You can repeat after me. May there be peace in my thoughts. May there be peace in my words. And may there be peace in my heart. And wishing for others, may there be peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. The light in me sees the light in you. The goodness in me sees the goodness in you. And no matter what, each and every one of us has goodness within. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I hope if you're off to bed that you sleep well. I hope if you're moving on to some other activity for the day, this gave you an opportunity for rest and ready for the next phase that comes in the schedule. Stay safe, be kind, and peace and love to the world.